Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. Life has a divine order, a principle that governs relationships, purpose, and destiny. Too many people chase after what was meant to pursue them. But hear me today, you don't need to chase what was designed to come to you. Your purpose is the greatest magnet in your life. It attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right relationships. You don't have to chase after what God has already designed to find you. Too many people spend their lives running after things and people that were never meant for them. And in the process, they compromise their value, lower their standards, and lose sight of who they are. But when you understand your purpose, you don't run. You position yourself. Adam never chased Eve. He never had to go looking for someone to complete him. Why? Because he was already busy with his assignment. God gave him work before he gave him a wife. He was placed in the garden to cultivate, to protect, to fulfill a vision. And it was while he was functioning in his purpose that God saw the need for a helper. It wasn't Adam who said, I need a wife. It was God who said, it is not good for man to be alone. That means the desire for companionship was identified by God, not man. When Adam was focused on what he was created to do, God prepared Eve and brought her to him. This is why I say, stop chasing and start positioning. A woman does not need to run after a man to prove her worth. If you have to convince someone to love you, to choose you, to stay with you, then they were never yours to begin with. A woman's value is not in her pursuit of a man, but in the virtue she carries. The right man, the one who walks in his own purpose, will recognize that value without her having to advertise it. A queen does not chase after a king. She carries herself with dignity, and the right king will recognize her presence. And brothers, let me speak to you. If you are running after someone who does not respect your vision, you are running in the wrong direction. A man must be consumed with his purpose before he is consumed with pursuing a woman. If a woman is not drawn to your assignment, then she is not assigned to you. A real woman is not looking for a man who begs for her attention. She is looking for a man who is going somewhere. If you are walking in your divine calling, the right woman will notice without you having to chase. You see, purpose is attractive. When you are fully engaged in what God has called you to do, you don't have time to waste on meaningless pursuits. You don't have time to convince people to see your worth. You don't have time to be distracted by relationships that pull you away from your destiny. Your assignment is too great, your vision is too valuable, and your time is too precious. Stop running after what is not running toward your purpose. The right people will be drawn to the right purpose. A woman who knows her value understands that her role is not to chase, but to be found. She is not desperate. She is prepared. She is not waiting idly. She is developing herself. She is growing, evolving, and becoming everything God created her to be. And when the time is right, the right man will come. Not because she ran after him, but because he recognized what was already there. And brothers, if you are still searching and striving to find someone before you have found yourself, you are moving in the wrong order. Adam had purpose first. He was working first. He was cultivating first. And then in the fullness of time, God brought the right person into his life. You don't need to beg, manipulate, or force something that is not aligned with your destiny. If it is for you, it will come to you. So hear me today. Stop chasing what was meant to find you. Position yourself in purpose, and in the right season, what is assigned to your life will recognize your value and come to you. Because what is for you will come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. There is a divine order to life. Too many people are caught up in chasing relationships, chasing opportunities, and chasing people who were never meant to be in their lives. But the principle remains the same. What is meant for you will come to you when you are in alignment with your purpose. Look at the first man, Adam. When God created him, he didn't immediately give him a wife. The first thing God gave Adam was work. He placed him in the garden with an assignment to cultivate, to protect, to build, and to fulfill his purpose. Adam was not wandering around looking for someone to complete him. He was busy being productive. He was busy managing what God had entrusted to him. And it was in that process that God saw the need for a companion and brought Eve to him. That is the divine order. You don't pursue people, you pursue purpose, and the right people will come. Adam didn't ask for Eve. Adam didn't go searching for her. He was consumed with his God-given assignment, and in due time, God brought to him what he needed. This is where many people go wrong. They put relationships before responsibility, companionship before calling, emotions before purpose. But when you step outside of divine order, you invite unnecessary frustration into your life. A woman is not meant to be a man's project. She is meant to be his partner. But how can you be a partner in something if the man has no vision? How can you be a helper if there is no work to help with? This is why God gave Adam work before he gave him a wife, because purpose comes before partnership. A man who has no direction should not be looking for a companion. He should be looking for his assignment. Because when a man is aligned with God's will, he won't have to chase after the right woman. She will come at the appointed time when he is prepared to lead, to cultivate, and to nurture what God has given him. And to my sisters, this is why you do not chase a man. If Adam did not go looking for Eve, why should you go looking for someone who has not yet discovered his purpose? A real man, one who walks in his divine assignment, will recognize your value without you having to force yourself into his life. A man who is still searching for himself cannot properly see you. This is why you don't beg, you don't chase, and you don't compromise your standards just to be chosen. You are designed to be found, to be recognized, to be honored. The problem today is that too many people are rushing ahead of God's timing. They are desperate to be in a relationship, but they have not yet built themselves. They are looking for someone to complete them, but they have not yet discovered who they are. Listen to me. If you are incomplete alone, you will still be incomplete with someone else. It is your purpose that makes you whole. It is your assignment that gives you identity. And when you are walking in that purpose, you will attract what is meant for you. This is why Adam didn't have to worry about who was right for him. He was functioning in his purpose, and God knew exactly who to bring into his life. And when Eve came, Adam immediately recognized her. He didn't question, he didn't hesitate, he knew. Why? Because when you are in alignment with your calling, you will recognize who is meant to walk with you. The right person does not come through force or manipulation. They come through divine positioning. So I say to you today, stop worrying about when and how the right person will come. Your job is not to chase after them. Your job is to chase after your purpose. The moment you focus on becoming everything God created you to be, the right people will enter your life at the right time. You don't have to strive, you don't have to struggle, you don't have to force what was designed to fit naturally. Because what is for you will come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. A woman was never designed to chase after a man. From the beginning of creation, God established a principle. A woman is to be found, not to pursue. But in today's world, we see the opposite. Society has convinced many that if a woman wants love, she has to go after it. She has to fight for it. She has to prove her worth, lower her standards, and settle for less just to be chosen. But that is not the divine order. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Notice what it does not say. It does not say she who finds a husband. It does not say she who chases after a man will be blessed. It says he who finds. That means the responsibility of pursuit is placed on the man, not the woman. The woman's responsibility is not to chase, but to position herself in a way that she is recognized by the right man. Look at Eve. She never had to go searching for Adam. She was brought to him. She didn't have to convince him of her value. She didn't have to prove that she was worthy. The moment Adam saw her, He recognized her identity and said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." He knew immediately. Why? Because when a man is in alignment with his purpose, he will recognize the right woman without her having to force herself into his life. This is where many women go wrong. They believe they have to convince a man to choose them. They believe they have to prove that they are good enough. But hear me today. If you have to convince someone to see your worth, they were never meant for you. A woman of value does not run after a man. She carries herself in such a way that the right man, the one assigned to her life, will notice her without hesitation. And sisters, let me tell you something. Your worth is not in how hard you fight for a man's attention. Your worth is in who you are becoming. The moment you start chasing after someone, you step out of divine order. You were never meant to beg for love. You were never meant to force someone to appreciate you. If a man does not see your value, it is not your job to convince him. A real man, one who is walking in his divine assignment, will not need to be begged to see the woman God has placed in his life. Look at Ruth. She did not chase after Boaz. She was simply working in the field, focused on her assignment, and Boaz noticed her. She didn't try to make him see her. She didn't beg for his attention. She was diligent, she was positioned, and in the right moment, Boaz recognized her. That is the order of God. When a woman focuses on becoming everything she was created to be, the right man will see her without her having to force herself into his life. But today, too many women are running after men who are not even ready to lead. They are trying to hold on to relationships that are draining them, fighting for people who are not fighting for them. Listen to me. A queen never runs after a king. She carries herself with dignity. And the right king recognizes her presence. You don't have to settle. You don't have to lower your standards. You don't have to prove yourself. And brothers, let me speak to you. If a woman is running after you while you are still trying to figure out your purpose, she is out of order. A real woman, one who understands her worth, will not force herself into your life. She will respect herself enough to wait for a man who is ready, a man who has discovered his assignment, a man who understands that leadership is not about control, but about responsibility. So to my sisters, stop running after what was meant to find you. You are a treasure, and a treasure does not chase after those who do not know its value. Position yourself in purpose, grow in your assignment, and when the time is right, the right man will recognize what God has placed inside of you. You don't have to chase love. You don't have to force what was meant to be natural, because what is for you will come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. When something is truly valuable, it does not have to beg for recognition. A woman of worth does not have to convince a man to see her value. If you have to persuade someone to choose you, if you have to prove your worth to be accepted, then that person was never meant for you. Because what is meant for you will recognize you without hesitation. Look at Adam. When God brought Eve to him, there was no confusion. He didn't need time to figure out who she was. He didn't need someone to explain her worth to him. The moment he saw her, he declared, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." He recognized her immediately because she was divinely assigned to him. The same principle applies today. When the right person comes into your life, they will not overlook your value. They will not make you feel unworthy. They will not hesitate. Too many women today are caught in the cycle of trying to prove themselves to a man who is unsure. They compromise their standards. They change who they are. They tolerate being treated less than they deserve, all because they believe if they just do a little more, the man will finally see their worth. But hear me today. If someone cannot see your value from the beginning, no amount of convincing will change that. A man who is meant for you will not need to be pressured into choosing you. And brothers, understand this. A woman is not looking for someone to tolerate her presence. She is looking for someone who recognizes her worth. If you are unsure about a woman, don't lead her on. If you don't see her as a life partner, don't waste her time. A real man makes a decision, and when he sees what is valuable, he moves with certainty. A woman is not an option. She is not something to be considered only when it's convenient. She is not meant to compete for a place in a man's life. A real man, one who understands purpose, does not leave a woman questioning where she stands. He does not entertain other options while keeping her waiting. He does not make her feel like she has to prove herself just to be loved. If a man is constantly unsure about you, if he is always hesitating, if he keeps making you feel like you need to earn his love, he is not the one God sent. Look at Boaz. When he saw Ruth, he recognized her character. He admired her diligence. He noticed her without her having to prove anything. She was simply working, functioning in her purpose. And the right man noticed her at the right time. She didn't have to beg for his attention. She didn't have to chase him. She was in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and God orchestrated the connection. This is the divine order. A man who walks in his purpose will recognize a woman of purpose. He will not need to be convinced. He will not need to be begged. He will not need to be manipulated into seeing her worth. The right man will honor the woman God places in his life. And sisters, if a man does not recognize you, do not waste your energy trying to convince him. Your value is not up for debate. Too many women are sitting in relationships where they feel unseen. They feel unheard. They feel like they are constantly trying to be enough. But let me tell you something. A woman of worth does not fight for attention. She does not beg for love. She does not prove her value. She knows who she is and she walks in confidence. And to my brothers, when you find a woman of virtue, do not take her presence for granted. If you recognize her worth, honor her, respect her, cover her. Do not play with her emotions. Do not make her feel like she is replaceable. A woman is not something you test drive to see if she is good enough for you. If you are a real man, you make a decision and you move with clarity. So to my sisters, if a man does not recognize your value, walk away with your dignity intact. You were never meant to beg for what God has assigned to you. You were never meant to convince someone to see your worth. The right person will recognize your value, honor your presence, and choose you without hesitation. Because what is for you will come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully. A man's vision is the foundation of his life. Before he thinks about a relationship, before he looks for a wife, before he even considers building a family, he must first discover his purpose. A man who does not know where he is going has no business taking someone with him. Because if he has no direction, how can he lead? If he has no vision, what will he provide? If he has no purpose, what is he building? Adam was given work before he was given a wife. He was placed in the garden not just to exist, but to cultivate, to manage, and to fulfill an assignment. He was busy walking in his divine purpose when God said, "It is not good for man to be alone." Notice, God did not create Eve because Adam was lonely. He created her because Adam had work to do and he needed help fulfilling his mission. A woman is not meant to complete a man. She is meant to complement a man who is already complete in his purpose. But today, too many men are looking for relationships before they have discovered their calling. They are chasing after women before they have built anything worth sustaining. And because of that, they end up in relationships that distract them, drain them, and delay their destiny. Listen to me. If a relationship is pulling you away from your purpose, it is not from God. A woman sent by God will never demand that you abandon your vision just to keep her. She will never require you to neglect your assignment to satisfy her. The right woman will align with your purpose, not compete with it. And sisters, hear me. If a man has no vision, he cannot lead you. You are not supposed to be the one carrying the weight of his future. You are not supposed to be the one figuring out where he is going. That is not your role. If a man does not have a plan, he is not ready for a partner. Because a woman is a helper, but she cannot help where there is no work. Adam had work, and Eve was assigned to help him fulfill what was already in motion. The problem today is that many women are attaching themselves to men who have no direction. They are trying to push, pull, and drag a man into purpose when it is not their responsibility to do so. A woman should not have to convince a man to be responsible. She should not have to force him to dream, to build, or to pursue greatness. That is something he must already be doing before she enters his life. And brothers, understand this. If you abandon your vision for the sake of a relationship, you are out of divine order. If a woman is pulling you away from your purpose, she is not your wife. If she is asking you to compromise your calling just to keep her, she is not your helpmate. A real woman, a woman of God, will support your mission, not sabotage it. She will encourage you to lead, not force you to choose between her and your destiny. Look at Boaz. When Ruth entered his life, he was already a man of wealth, a man of vision, a man of purpose. Ruth did not find him struggling to figure out who he was. She found him functioning in his assignment. And because he was secure in himself, he was able to recognize and honor her value. A real man does not wait until a woman comes into his life to start building. He builds first, so that when she arrives, she steps into stability, not confusion. And sisters, stop trying to fix a man who refuses to fix himself. Stop waiting for a man to find direction after he has already found you. If he does not have vision before you enter his life, he will not suddenly discover it once you are there. A man must already be walking in purpose before he looks for a partner, because without a vision, he has nowhere to lead you. So brothers, hear me. Focus on your assignment before you focus on a relationship. Build before you pursue. Work before you worry about a wife. Because when you walk in your divine calling, the right woman will recognize you. She will see the work you are doing and respect the man you are becoming. You will not have to beg her to stay. You will not have to convince her to believe in you. A woman sent by God will honor your purpose, not hinder it. So I say to you today, if a relationship is distracting you from your vision, let it go. If you are compromising your purpose to keep someone, you are walking outside of God's order. When the right person comes, they will not pull you away from your assignment. They will be drawn to it. Listen carefully. Patience is not weakness, it is wisdom. Too many people are rushing into relationships, forcing connections, and trying to make things happen in their own timing. But when you force what is not ready, you end up with something that is not meant to last. Anything that is truly valuable requires preparation, and anything that is from God comes in its appointed time. Look at Adam. When God saw that it was time for him to receive a wife, he did not send Adam on a search mission. He did not tell Adam to go out looking, chasing, and striving to find someone. Instead, God put Adam into a deep sleep, and while he was resting, God was working. While Adam was still, God was preparing what was meant for him. And when the time was right, Eve was presented to him. There is a lesson in that. When something is meant for you, you do not have to chase it down. You do not have to force it. You do not have to manipulate it. Your responsibility is to trust God's timing. Stay in alignment with his purpose and allow him to bring the right person into your life at the right moment. Because when God is the one doing the arranging, everything flows without struggle. But today, many people are impatient. They are not willing to wait on God's timing. They are desperate for love, desperate for validation, desperate for companionship. And in their desperation, they settle, they compromise, they accept relationships that are not God ordained. And later they wonder why they are frustrated, why they feel unfulfilled, why they are constantly trying to make something work that was never supposed to be. Listen to me. Anything that is forced will eventually fail. If you have to convince someone to stay, you will have to keep convincing them to love you. If you have to push someone to choose you, you will always feel like you are not enough. But when something is truly meant for you, it will come with peace, not pressure. The right person will not make you feel like you are an option. The right person will not leave you confused. The right person will recognize your value without hesitation. And sisters, let me talk to you. Stop trying to make a man ready who is not ready. Stop trying to build a relationship with someone who has not built himself. A man who is not yet prepared for you will not be able to appreciate you. A man who has not yet discovered his purpose will not know how to lead you. You cannot rush a man into his destiny, and you cannot make a relationship work that God has not ordained. If he's not ready, let him go. If he's not willing to step into responsibility, let him go. If he is unsure about you, let him go. A woman who knows her worth does not waste her time waiting for a man to decide if he wants her. She moves forward, trusting that the right man, the one who is ready, the one who is aligned with God's purpose, will come at the right time. And brothers, understand this. A woman who is from God is worth the wait. You do not have to rush into the first relationship that presents itself just because you feel lonely. You do not have to settle for someone who does not align with your vision just because you feel pressure. A real man waits for what is right, not what is available. Because when the right woman comes into your life, she will add to you, not subtract from you. Look at Boaz. He did not force himself into Ruth's life. He did not rush to claim her out of desperation. He observed, he recognized, and when the time was right, he made a decision with clarity. That is what a man does. He does not rush, he does not hesitate, but he also does not force something before it's time. He moves in divine timing. So I say to you today, stop rushing what God is still preparing. Stop forcing what is not flowing naturally. Stop holding on to people who are not holding on to you. If something is truly meant for you, it will come in God's timing, not yours. You do not have to strive. You do not have to stress. You do not have to chase. Listen carefully. When something is from God, it comes with peace. It does not come with confusion. It does not come with uncertainty. And it does not come with anxiety. If you have to fight, force, or manipulate something to stay in your life, it was never meant for you. Because what is truly for you will not bring you stress, it will bring you clarity. Too many people today are in relationships where they feel unsettled. They are constantly second-guessing their place in someone's life. They are fighting to be seen, begging to be chosen, and struggling to hold on to something that is slipping through their fingers. But hear me today, love is not supposed to be a battlefield. A relationship that is aligned with God's purpose will not require you to sacrifice your peace just to keep it alive. Look at Adam and Eve. When God brought Eve to Adam, there was no debate. There was no hesitation. There was no confusion. Adam did not have to ask, is this the one? He did not have to spend months trying to figure out if she was right for him. The moment he saw her, he knew. He declared, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. That is what happens when something is divinely assigned to you. It feels right, it aligns, and it flows without resistance. But when something is not from God, it will drain you. It will feel forced. It will make you anxious, unsettled, and insecure. Listen to me. If you have no peace in a relationship, that is a sign from God. Peace is the confirmation that something is right. And when peace is missing, that is your answer. Stop trying to justify staying in a situation that is robbing you of your joy. And sisters, let me speak to you. If a man makes you feel uncertain about where you stand, he is not the one. If you are constantly questioning whether he truly values you, if you are always wondering where the relationship is going, if you are feeling anxious about whether he is committed, that is not the relationship God has for you. A real man, a man who is aligned with God's purpose, will not leave you confused. He will make his intentions clear. He will honor you with his actions, not just his words. He will bring peace, not doubt. And brothers, listen. If a woman is always bringing you stress, if she's always pulling you into drama, if you feel like you have to fight for her attention, she's not your wife. A real woman, a woman sent by God, will not make your life more complicated. She will not bring unnecessary chaos. She will not have you questioning her loyalty. The right woman will align with your purpose, not distract you from it. Look at Boaz. When he saw Ruth, he did not play games. He did not lead her on. He did not keep her guessing. He moved with clarity, he honored her, and he made his decision without hesitation. That is how a man acts when he recognizes the right woman. He does not create confusion, he creates certainty. But today, too many people are settling for confusion. They are staying in situations where there is no peace, no security, and no confirmation from God. And do you know why? Because they are afraid to let go. They are afraid to trust that God has something better. They are afraid to walk away from what is familiar, even when what is familiar is hurting them. Listen to me, God will never require you to sacrifice your peace for the sake of a relationship. If something is from Him, it will feel right. It will come with assurance, not fear. It will come with clarity, not anxiety. It will bring joy, not heartache. And if you are in something that is constantly making you question your worth, making you feel like you have to fight for love, making you lose yourself, that is not love. That is bondage. And God does not call you to be bound. He calls you to be free. So I say to you today, stop holding on to relationships that are stealing your peace. Stop forcing what God is trying to remove. Stop trying to make something work that was never meant to. When something is truly yours, you won't have to fight for it to stay. It will come with peace, it will flow naturally, and it will confirm itself without pressure. Because what is for you will come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me one last time. What is truly meant for you will never require you to beg, force, or compromise your worth to receive it. The right person, the right relationship, and the right timing will come with peace, not pressure. You do not have to chase what God has already assigned to you. You do not have to prove your value to someone who is meant to see it. You do not have to settle for confusion when God has called you to clarity. So stand firm in your purpose. Walk boldly in your identity. Trust that God's plan is greater than your impatience, and His timing is more perfect than your own. If something is not flowing naturally, let it go. If someone cannot see your worth, do not lower yourself to prove it. The right person will recognize, honor, and cherish you without hesitation. May you walk in confidence, knowing that what is truly for you is already on its way. And when it arrives, you will not have to chase it. It will come to you. Good luck, stay strong, and trust the process. Thank you.